So we'll start with a few silly questions.
Okay.
What is your favourite meal and who cooks it?
Right, my favourite meal is anything with chicken in it. And the person or the cook that I like to cook it is me, because I know how to cook it the way I like it.
Who is your favourite band and what sort of music do you like?
I have a number of favourite bands, not exactly one particular band, but I do like, and I like artists, like singing artists. So I do like Bruno Mars, and for a Māori band, I like Arija.
When you were at school, which teen group were you? The jocks, the mean girls, the alternatives, the loners, the nerds?
I think I was in the naughty group.
Why is that?
Because I did naughty things. From primary school through, I did naughty things. But anyway, my mother said to me, I'm surprised you even are doing this. She said, because from being a member of parliament to standing for local government, she said, oh, you used to be so naughty.
Have you ever been arrested?
No.
What would you consider to be a good crime to be arrested for?
Well, there's no good crime, really. It's all crime is crime. So, none of them.
What country will you never visit again and why?
That's a tough one, because I've been to third world countries. I've been to English-speaking countries and non-English-speaking countries, and they all have their merits. So I would like to visit them again at another time, but rather than being pushed through and rushed through the various conferences that I've attended, I'd like to stay and have a bit of a look around at what local life is like.
If you were running for government, which party would you be with?
National.
Right, now onto the serious questions. Why are you running for mayor?
I believe that I have the ability to bring my political experience to the table. So that gives me governance experience as well, and business experience is what I bring. I bring the ability to speak for people. I've had that experience as a former politician, and that's what I love doing the best, actually. Being a former politician, being a politician per se, is the most privileged position that anybody would be able to represent in this country, or in any country. And that's why I'm standing for Mayor of Masterton. I believe that they need a very strong voice. They need somebody who is connected at central government as well as regional and local, and also with iwi. I noticed that when I came here to Masterton, a lot of the relationships with iwi were coming along nicely, but they needed a big boost. I believe I bring all of those connections. And the other thing that I believe is that I'm also a former employee of local government. It was many years ago, but I worked for the Palmerston North City Council and set up a place called the Youth One Stop Shop, which still operates today. So even though there's been lots of reform, and there's reform coming on the horizons of local government, I believe that I'm the best suited to be able to tackle all of those issues head on.
If you win the election, what issue will you make your number one priority?
So that would be the water issues, the three waters, and making sure that our voice is strongly heard at central government. We were not the only council doing this, so all three councils are backing each other, and as well as a number of other councils throughout the country. So I think that the government has not heard us, and I think that we need to have that strong voice at that central government level and at that table. It's also about working across government and across the opposition as well, because we don't know what's going to happen next year. Lots and lots of ideas around, if we get a new government, it's always like that. Every year at general election is what impact will that have on local government and regional government. And I think that's the type of person and type of mayor that will be able to bring that, and I'm the person that can do that.
Where would you like to see the community event centre, and what would you like it to include?
So I think it's an interesting debate, that one, the community event centre, because I submitted on the plan for last year, and for me, I said, for me it was, the jury was out for me about supporting it and what its role would be. Now, Masterton is known for the Golden Shears, so it will have to support the ability for the Golden Shears to grow and expand. But it's got to be a community centre or a civic centre, or however people want to look upon it. as a centre that everybody can use. So it's got to be able to be afforded by community groups to actually use the centre. So I would like it to be cost effective. I would like people to be able to access it. I want it to be busy. I want it to be all of those things without cutting the nose off, despite the face of other councils as well. Understanding Carterton has their community centre as well. So I'd like to see a harmonisation of what they do in Carterton, what we do in Masterton, and same with Martin Borough as well. So yeah, big things. We just have to see how it goes.
Who are the at-risk groups in your region and how will you help them?
So our at-risk groups are Māori. They always have been here. And I think that they need a voice to be able to come through. I think that iwi, with the settlements, the way that they are going, I think that once Ngāti Kahanunu have got their settlement through the House, which it's going through right now, it's had its first reading, the submissions have been out and the submissions need to be heard. So once that is through, I think that will actually help with being able to help Māori in this community. I think that the older people are also at risk as well. I think that we need to be able to provide security for those, for our elderly, housing for our elderly, and for those that are unable to afford their own homes, or the rentals here, the rent prices are astronomical. And I feel that the council has kind of not lost their way, but have had that ability to be able to influence the housing, affordable housing in this region, kind of swiped out from underneath them. And a lot of people that will hear this will go, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, when I first came here, we had an older woman whose landlord had ceased her rent because of their business issues, and this woman was out and there was nowhere to put her. So I think I'd like to see the council get really involved in being able to support people with housing, Māori, the elderly. I think rangatahi or youth will actually survive all right. They will come here, they will go to school, they will go away. We've got to be able to attract them back.
What is your stance on Three Waters and how could council do a better job?
So Three Waters is one of those things that's actually been driven by government. So I've never supported Three Waters. I have made that very clear to Department of Internal Affairs around what I think about Three Waters. I think it takes away the sovereignty and integrity of local government and iwi. I think that we need to make sure that if anything's going to happen, that we have a voice. I would like to think that we're not going to be forced in to you will take it or else. It seems like that, but we'll just have to watch the space. So I support the people when they say we don't want Three Waters. I would like to hear what the opposition says when they said they're going to repeal Three Waters. I want to know what they're going to repeal it to and what power will stay with local government.
What is the issue that's most important to you personally, not the region, and why?
I think the issue to me personally is about strong families and community. That's the issue. I want to see families given an opportunity to be successful. I want families to, and these are people not just here but also outside of Masterton, to see Masterton as a choice, as a place that they want to come and live and play and raise their families, and or to come back to if they decide to leave to go work somewhere else, but to come back to and to support. I think that that's my strongest issue is around families. I think if we can get that sorted, then economy, which is one area that I think is going to really grow very shortly. And how do I say that? Because everybody says, oh, but we're heading towards a recession, or as Prebble said, stagflation. Yeah, we might be doing that, but we also have other opportunities in the wind as well. One of those is iwi partnerships. The council hasn't really milked that as much as they can, and I think that needs to be brought forward. And the other area around that is also tourism. Lots of people say to me, oh, you know, what have we got for tourism? And I said, only you will know. But I can tell you now that some of the areas around Airbnb, we get a lot of people here, and what do we have issues with? We don't have enough accommodation. There's opportunities to have Airbnb. I've got a friend that runs a tourism business in Dunedin. She does dark skies. I said to her, how did you do that? And she said, oh, well, we put them in a van, we drive them out to the end of the peninsula and tell them to look up. And I went, I thought, wow, it's innovative. But we have so many opportunities here. We just have to think broadly about it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Vote Hayes for mayor. Kia ora.